Hello, good evening, and Smello. My name is Drinks Glue. Tonight we got some Moogle Cup action for you, but first, before we get to all that fun stuff, allow me the pleasure of introducing my co-commentator tonight, Turdsman. Turdsman, how you doing, my dog?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me here today. So yeah, like Glue said, we are doing some Moogle Cup fun tonight. We've got Sigil and Dwaya battling each other. They are both. I think they both came in the last set of Moogle Cups. They're both been leveling up really fast, getting much better. So let's, before we kind of get into them a little bit more specifically, I guess I get into what the Moogle Cup is more generally. It is the FF6 Worlds Collide's brand new player system. We've got a group of mentors ready to help people out who are just getting into the game, seasoned veterans, and they will join with you in a voice chat while you go through some early seeds and try to figure out what's going on. They'll be there to give you a little bit of help, give you a little bit of guidance going through. We've got a whole lot of people signing up, plenty more slots though, so be sure to check out ff6worldscollide.com. Give you a link to the Discord, and that will give you a link to the sign-up sheet so you can jump in. So this is how the Moogle Cup works. The unlock is 6 characters and 9 espers, just like it is for Ultros League seeds, and a lot of this is pretty similar to the way that Ultros League works, but sort of tweaked to make it a bit easier to get used to, so all the different ways that you can develop an endgame party for this. So we had a couple of extra objectives: suplexing a train, singing in the opera, and dealing with Sid will each get you a high tier item. The Doma Dream and the Memtech Factory is normal, and the skip adds the oh, never mind. No, that is just normal. 9 characters, 12 espers, and 22 checks. I guess you have to get 2 of them.
It's just one of them. I gotta update that graphic one day.
Oh, okay. All right. I had a feeling. I didn't remember that, but I saw it on the internet, so obviously I had to think it was true.
Tonight might be the cue for me to finally actually do that. But no, the Moogle Cup, as Tersman mentioned, it's our new player program. You're still playing the seed, you still have the hand on the wheel, but we're all about learning in Worlds Collide, and we will happily show you the game if you are a new player. And one of the cool things about some of these showcases that we've done one already, we're going to do a few more, is that Dwayne and Sigil, they were participants in our second Moogle Cup, as Tersman's mentioned, but they progressed so well, and they're obviously fantastic people. They're going to be mentors in our third edition of the Moogle Cup.
Oh, cool.
So if you like what you see from them from a competitive standpoint, you can learn just from players like them or for some of the other players we'll be doing in these Moogle Cup showcases, and yeah, really neat stuff.
Yeah, it's a neat program. I think it's a really nice way to kind of get used to it. Obviously there's a lot of little intricate details and minuscule numbers and all of the math that happens behind the screen to make your little guys, hit each other with sticks. But this is a really good way to kind of get an idea of where you want to be at the end of a game. Like you can see how a strong party is supposed to look or supposed to feel like. That way you're, a little bit more aware of how to get there in a regular one.
Yeah. From a competitive standpoint, the Moogle Cup flags are very giving. You get a lot of offense. You'll find offense just about everywhere you go, whether it's Super Balls, cheap rods, whatever it may be. And it's designed that way just to kind of teach you everything that you can or can't do in Worlds Collide. You don't know how broken rods are until, well, you've broken about 100 rods. And the Moogle Cup affords you the opportunity to experiment with that. We just gave Sigil and Dwaya the go-ahead to go, and off they go. And
all right,
Strego, Locke, and Setzer. What a start.
Not great, not a lot of checks available at the start, but some pretty good ones. Getting Locke as early as possible. Looks like Dwaya's got the idea there.
Oh yeah.
Heading over to the World of Ruin, Narsh, to pick up the check in the weapon shop and possibly check on that curse shield.
Yeah, Locke does have access to 2 free checks. One a little more popular than the other. This Water Ruin Weapon Shop is a nice option of, do you want a Madoon or a Genji Glove? That's a no-brainer. But sometimes that exact scenario, sometimes it's Experience Egg or Madoon, or sometimes if you're really blessed, it's, you know, Illumina or Illumina.
Right, yeah. 2 force shields.
But Dwayne hopping on over, they're going to see what's going on with the Curse Shield, which is another one of the things Locke grants us access to. Curse Shield battle at 9, that's not too bad.
Yeah, you could probably get that in a burning house.
Yeah. Sigil taking a little more traditional route. He's going through looting the lone wolf room. There's 6 treasure chests in there, plus a little clock you can get later on up the pathway. Also, you know, one of the advantages going to the Water Balanced Nourish, as opposed to the Water Ruin, is all of the shops are still occupied because the town hasn't been abandoned yet.
Ooh, finding lots of good magic equipment. Found Magus hats and earrings here in Narsh, and deciding to get a pack of those earrings right away. Nice.
Yeah, early earrings is a fantastic find. You don't have to worry about them later. So with this start, you're kind of got to get a little bit creative, because you can obviously go do Burning House, some people in chat are mentioning, and you may, if you're not familiar with Burning House, well, it's a house that's on fire, and there's a couple flames running around inside of it, and those flames and Walt's Collide have been shuffled into random fixed encounters. Those fixed encounters can give you experience. Sometimes they don't, though, and when they don't, you're kind of committed when you walk in the Burning House. You either got to fight the boss or you got to leave in a body bag. And if those fights don't give you the experience, then unfortunately you risk leaving in the former.
Sigil finding a Valiant Knife in the Collingen Cafe. Very nice to have along with a Lock start.
1000%, because Locke, you know, being the only default Valiant Knife wearer, you don't have to worry about Kansetsu wear that, Kinstrego wear that. We got the goods already. So, Tarzman, what do you think about what Dway is doing here? They started in the World of Ruin. They're going to a few different places, maybe in the back end of the order that most people would be. What do you think about that?
I don't mind it, considering you know, she wanted to go for the Narsh stuff right away. That does make sense. You know, get whatever you have available there. Scaling in these flag sets, I believe, is ×2 for characters, espers, and dragons. So you can get away with getting a Magicite or a character or two in the beginning and not really run into too much trouble. But provided, you know, she can find some offense, which she did find a nice shield, I think, somewhere. But otherwise, yeah, this works, I think. We'll see where she wants to go after this. If she decides to maybe get a couple grind fights in the basement, or if she's just going to go straight to, I don't know, whatever her first checks are going to be. That's kind of what I'd be curious first, is because Burning House almost seems like the best choice, unless you want to go to, I don't know, the Figaro Cave, maybe?
Yeah, you definitely don't have to walk into a check that has fixed encounters. You can, you know, take a few stab on the overworld, or, you know, a place like South Figaro Basement where there's normally encounters. So the Burning House, it's not Burning House or bust. One of the cool things about Daryl's Tomb is there's actually more encounters down there than you would think. So I would not be opposed. I think Sigil just saw Ragnarok's on the scene in the Allbrook. My goodness. Anywho, there's actually more encounters spread out down there than you think. So it's a good choice, and plus there's a save point before the boss.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, I think the way that Sigil's running it, that's probably how I would be doing the opening looting. Would be maybe not worry about the basement as much as going to going to Albrook, going to Thamasa, the towns that have items in them for you to find something good in the shops.
Yeah.
Because shops are very good in Moogle Cup seeds.
Yep, because remember, we do have expensive rods flag is turned off, so those rods cost just about what they would in the vanilla game. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And one of the cool things about Final Fantasy VI or speedrunning it is that anything you do or don't do from a speedrun all builds up to the point to where you get to Thamasa, to where you can get access to 3,000 GP Flame, Ice, and Thunder Rods, and then everything else kind of opens up from you after that point. So to have that available to you in the randomizer is pretty powerful.
Yeah, pretty much any of the shields or rods. Super Ball is also a very nice nice thing to find early on. But yeah, breakable items are good pretty much throughout the entire game.
And looks like, you know, that's kind of what Sigil, as you touched on, that's what his game plan is here. Let's visit a few more shops and see if we can luck into Super Balls, or if we can look into Fire Rods. I think if you buy in Fire, I would personally prefer Fire Rods over Super Balls. Some people may disagree. Some people may prefer experience against commonizers. You know, to each their own, but...
Yeah, immediately running out, didn't even bother checking the rest of
Yep,
the shops. Just like, oh, never mind. Nope, I figured out what I'm going to do.
Yep, we know. We just need to go get a line of credit somewhere.
And I actually really like this. There's a lot of chests in the Phoenix Cave. It's kind of a crappy, you know, run through, and if you're not going to get the dragging, it can be kind of a bummer. But this is smart. Get as many items as you can to sell to buy up some eggs.
Oh, I would want that egg and the economizer, because we had Quasar with one of the opening lures, and economizer Quasar. That's it. That's like the rest of the seed. You can just spam that and get through the rest of it.
And Dwaya finding those experience eggs as well, and kind of having a similar attitude. Going to check the other two shops as well, but took a good long look at their item list to see if there isn't enough money in here, and didn't think there was, at least not for more than one. Which you'd like to have more than one, but 48,000 is not a small amount, especially this early in the game.
No, it's going to be a little bit tough, especially if you want to go the economizer Quasar type route. But honestly, I would sell everything that's not hammered down. That ice shield.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not the Valiant Knife, but I could see a scenario where maybe someone would. Because, you know, the Valiant Knife obviously is fantastic, but the Moogle Cup flags are pretty giving in the offensive standpoint, so you may come across one later. So it's a little unorthodox play, but someone I could see making.
And we do know that there's some Ragnaroks floating around, I think you said in Albrook, so there's at least another option for an offensive weapon for a log if you want to hang on to them. Ice rods and snipers, there's a lot of good stuff in this shop.
Yep. All of this bouncing around and paying off. We're finding all the good stuff. It's out there and we're finding it.
Well, I'm not sure if Sigil's checked the shops in Collingen if they grabbed any rods as well.
Well, he went to the World of Balance one, and the World of Balance and the World of Ruin College, they will have different contents based on which world you visit them in. But I do really like the Phoenix Cave play here. Phoenix Cave is one of those things where it's a free check. It just takes a lot longer than a lot of the other free checks that you see out there. But when you have like a Strago type party, or Strago turning around in the party, when your options are longer free check or the worst checks in the game, then longer free check is a little bit more appealing.
Plus, it matches up with wanting to bump that economy up to get as many of those eggs as possible before they really start hammering in some stuff. More eggs for sale at South Figaro.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. Just in case, like maybe the Zen World of Ruin relic shop owner, maybe he didn't care for the guy. Maybe he gave you a dirty look, or you read the Yelp reviews and he doesn't, have as good of a reputation. You can just buy him there.
Yeah, I checked him out on Google Maps.
Yeah, plus some ice rods.
It's like 2.5 stars for some reason. Nobody's 2.5 stars. What's going on with this place?
Yeah, maybe you don't like the return policy or something.
Right.
All right. That is Unicorn for Sigil. That is Esper number 2. I know that because I'm a very good tracker, and I am tracking him.
Yeah, not too shabby. Found some pretty good value items in there as well. A Mega Elixir, a couple of pieces of endgame armor. So got a good amount of items to hopefully pick up an egg or two. And/or an economizer. You think you said Quasar was in the list?
I believe it was.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
So Dwaya will not get that Esper. Most likely won't get that Esper from Phoenix Cave.
Yeah.
So we may see a little bit of divergence now. Looks like Dwayne is still going to do a little bit more looting. Maybe they're want some more money for that eggs and everything they have come across so far.
Yeah, Phoenix Cave, like you said, not a super popular one, but if, having a Magicite back there is not quite as critical of a divergence as, say, finding a character back there. Like if Saban was in the back or something like that, that'd be a huge difference in where they're going to go from here. But, we'll see what Unicorn has for spells or stats. Maybe that's the only Magic +2 Esper in the game.
Maybe. No. Oh, yes,
Ooh.
there is. Ooh, that's interesting. So now we need even more money.
Yeah, this is going to be curious. I'm curious to see if Dwee is going to drop it all on these offensive items as opposed to picking up any eggs before they start hitting some checks really hard.
Ooh. Well, looks like they picked up 3 of them. That's a tough decision because Super Balls can speak. The most dangerous part of a seed or of a run is your early game when you're like level 3 to 10ish. You have to take a grind fight, and then if you don't have AoE attacks, then well, it's kind of really hard to do some of the harder grind fights. But those are the ones you really want to do because you want the experience from them. But Super Balls, you know what, you kind of say, you know what, I don't want to do any of that. I want to go drop a Super Ball
right
on number 24 and let that be my free experience. The only downside to that is you got to, all that egg money you could have got has to go towards those Super Balls.
Yeah, there's a decent chance that that she could just make up for it in time. I mean, Sigil is doing getting a couple checks in while they go around looking for items, so that gives them, they're technically ahead on progression right now with that extra Esper. But if Dwea doesn't worry too much about going around and getting a ton of extra items to buy those eggs, they might be able to make up that time that they would lose being level 50 or whatever by the end of the game.
I really like this. We found the Super Balls.
Yep.
Super Balls are kind of great for Phoenix Tower, but they're also kind of awkward because it's a long walk to get up there. And if you get up there and you fight Tentacles or you fight Hydon or the Stooges, then well, Super Balls unfortunately aren't great against those. But there are no dragon fights where there's multiple dragons on the screen. It's always just one, and that's where Super Balls thrive. So you might as well go where you can butter your bread.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic idea, and plus I think picked up 3 of them. That should, I mean, unless it's the worst roll 3 times in a row, this is
nope,
and one and done.
Yep, efficient use of Super Balls.
This is good. That's a ton of experience points right out of the gate, and a couple of nifty items.
Yeah. 3 out of the 8 dragons either drop a Force Shield or a Force Armor. All of the other ones drop something you can sell. That's pretty nice. Plus, like if they get an offering here, it's not an offering, it's a Thunder Shield. But if they had got an offering, that's a VK offering. Ooh. And that's even better than Quasar. Or even anything like an Illumina, Ragnarok, or some fixed dice because we have Zetsu. That could have really opened up the seed depending on what they did or didn't drop.
Yeah, the Thunder Shield is not quite as drastic of a change on everything, but handy to have around at the very least. Plus, looks like had an HP plus 100 Esper on Locke, so Locke has twice as much health as everybody else right now.
Yep.
Coming handy later.
Sigil found out that there's more than one shop with the beautiful experience eggs in them. Looks like he's finally committing. Let's have a garage sale and turn around and invest it back into the economy.
Went past the Genji shield, wanting to hang on to that.
Ooh, that's a mistake, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that one.
No,
it can be nice to have the armor on hand. You don't want to be caught with leather equipment at the end of the game, but there's so much better stuff you can put in your shield slot. There we go.
There we
Good
go.
job.
That's my dog.
I feel better now.
No, I think there's such a big drop between the Genji shield and then the shields above it, which are Aegis Force, and then all the other ones. That I don't understand how we had the Genji shield as a high tier item for 4 years.
Technically.
There's a lot of hot takes in this community, and that is one of mine.
I mean, at least the Genji armor has like 2 strength on it or something like that.
Oh yeah, plus just about everybody can wear it, so it's amazing from that standpoint.
All right, Sigil picking up an egg. Was that his first one or his second one?
I think that was his first one, because he bought some rods as well, so...
Right, okay.
Ooh, does Joy have sleeping bags? Yes, she does.
Ooh, yeah, I know that that panic attack. I'm like, oh no, did I forget this thing on my shopping list? Take that monster in a box. Gonna see what. Wow, first pick. But can. Oop, got sketch. Just have to not die to acid rain in the meantime.
Do we get it on the one time? We do not. That's a bummer. So, the way it's hovering over it, you can actually stone Katana Soul as well, but that Super Ball did so much damage that you're probably better off just Quasaring because it can't have much left to it.
Yeah, not. I mean, the dragon did increase scaling a little bit, but not enough to bring any bosses other than like maybe a statue above 10,000 hit points.
All right, so Juea now has a Valiant Knife. They have a plus 100 HP Esper. They're gonna have an offering.
Oh, and a bunch of money for something real nice in one of these shops.
Yep. Now they just go buy an egg. If I were to put all of the possible setups for an early game in order, I would put the Experience Egg, Valiant Knife offering, plus 100 HP Esper at the top.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're gonna make a character that can solo the rest of the seed. Here, like, and a Minerva. Hey, Flock can equip that Minerva. He is set.
Oh, here's another Valiant Knife.
You want another one?
Yeah. So business is booming on Duea's side of the screen. Unfortunately, Yamaro is going to stand between her and what we wanted to do next. But
I do agree with taking this though. Not going to be too much of a slog to get through this boss, and you know, on the off chance that you want to try to get away with a Genji Knife Valiant Knife user, or Genji Glove Valiant Knife user, that would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Sigil not running into a random encounter outside of South Figaro. Took a bunch of time trying to find one, but just did not happen. So going to go ahead and opt for the cave. This is a really good spot to do a couple grind fights. You can go up to the healing pond with a turtle in it. Drink as much of his water as you can stand. Fight a few whatevers. Oh, these guys might be kind of a pain. They have a lot of evasion.
But can't dodge an ice rod.
That's true. Oh, you can tank it though, dang.
My goodness. Alright. I think Juea is going to have to part with her Super Ball if she wants to get through this fight a little efficiently. And,
yeah, I was just saying that. But Zumaro's taking a bit of extra damage. And there we go, finally.
Alright. Another Valiant Knife in tow for Juea. Even if they don't want to, you know, have two Valiant Knife wearers, we can turn that in, plus the Minerva, or plus all the Katana Soul Gold into an Experience Egg if we wanted to.
That's true.
Or just see if anybody can wear it. Nobody can wear it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sigil finding Ultros 1 as the boss at the end of this. Not really anything to worry about, hardly. And looks like they got more than enough levels from that one fight with the God, I forget what they are, but the thief and the bear that's usually on Mount Zozo. Oh, uh-oh.
Oh my goodness. The good news is the offering will bypass love token. Goddess loves whenever she's a physical attack to cast love token on one of your characters, and that will turn them into a meat shield for her. However, the offering just ignores that, so you can love token all you want. Great heads up play there by Dueya to front row her lock. And
yeah, still the Valiant Knife has a lot of weird little quirks to its damage calculations to, you know, not take, like, it doesn't get as much from a jump boost, it doesn't get as much of a penalty from a couple of other things, but still good to have a character in the front row. Meanwhile, Sigil finding Shadow at the end of the cave there. First new character, and they're going to go straight to the free check with them.
Ooh, so that would have been interesting if that was a character right there, because it may... I'd reckon Dueya would go there sooner rather than later. But if Sigil could have got on another path of characters a little faster, because Dueya's cooking now, right? We got a Valiant Knife offering, plus 100 HP Esper.
Yeah.
We're ahead by 2 checks. Oh, speaking of plus 100 HP Espers, my goodness.
Ooh. Not great spells on many of these Espers just yet, unfortunately, but good stat buffs, thankfully. So yeah, looks like Dwayne is going to be getting their egg. Meanwhile, Sigil heading for the Velt Cave. Not a bad idea. You can peek this one ahead of time, so you can find out if it's going to be an Esper, a character, or a item based on the sprite that you see lying on the ground.
Alright, Dwayne almost there. Just needs 6,000 more GP. Almost. That card sell more than what you think they would, I tell you.
Right. Yeah, I went ahead and got rid of the Force Shield.
Yeah.
Agree with that. Get another egg.
Yeah, 2 eggs is probably the perfect amount here. You put 1 on lock. Zetzer and Strego are kind of whatever from an equipment standpoint. Fixed dice are cool, but there's some better things out there.
And Merton on the Esper that Dwyer just got from Search the Skies, so...
Very nice.
Never mind. Mages have something to do now.
So
we found a lot of elemental shields and a Minerva floating around in there, so plenty of options to get some Merton defense online.
Yep. Kudos to Dwayne if she can remember where those Thunder Shields were, because I honestly already forgot.
They might have been in World of Balance Narsh. I know there was a lot of good stuff in there for... No, that was the Relic Shop.
No, I think it was one of the colleges. I think it was the college they went to, so that would have been a World of Balance. And ooh, there's Gao.
Oh, she's opting to do the Ebbett's Rock instead of Burning House. I guess that kind of makes sense. You don't really need any grind fights anymore. That's why I got that dragon early on, and that rubber banded her pretty far ahead of scaling. And if she takes boss checks, then she'll stay above it.
Nice. We are in contention for a perfect Ebbett's Rock here. That's 10 and 12. Oh no, it's over.
Almost.
The perfect game is lost. We needed 2 more 5s, but we're getting double 2s, and
oh no.
Yeesh. So, I would say finding Gao and that shadow before Joya has is very fortuitous for Sigil. Joya is running around, searching for Coral, and Sigil has already figured out that the way through the seed probably is South Figueroa Cave, so he's on that path. Speaking of being on that path, here's some Doomgaze, and he'll knock you off a path real fast, but Dwaya fortunately survives. So while Dwaya has a little more power under their belt, all of this seed information for Sigil is putting him on a pretty good path, and may allow him to slingshot past Dwaya despite her being more powerful right now.
Yeah, because Sigil's getting a lot stronger pretty quick. They only have the 1 egg compared to the 2, but they still have the Valiant Knife on the lock. No offering yet, but that Bahamut's going to be giving him a ton more HP. He's going to get a lot better, a lot faster.
Yep. And obviously they're looking for that Valiant Knife as well, by virtue of them taking the monster in the box that's in this cave. Unfortunately, we already know it's over in Daryl's tomb. And it's probably unlikely he never goes to Daryl's tomb until the end of the seed when he's trying to do some peekable checks.
Yeah, it could be. If it's something that you don't do early, it tends to be something you do when you want to be going quickly, and that might give them, give him a reason to not check that box on the way there.
Yeah, he could get there at a point to where maybe he finds, Illuminas or something else before that, and he's like, I don't just give up on the offering. It's probably not here, and he could walk right past it. Tools X Magic Gal.
Natural magic.
Yeah, pretty good gal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Better than that Setzer. Setzer wasn't really doing much of anything. Yep. Sigil pets the dog.
Fantastic job.
Excellent work.
Most impressive thing I've seen tonight, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Top level play, really.
Ooh, so we may get some Divergence. That's a character, and if you wanted a 4th character, I think Yamaro's probably the best possible 4th character you would want. What do you think, Tarsman?
Oh yeah, I mean, and 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, frankly. I think the only character slot I don't want Yamaro is in the 7th one.
Yep. And she's doing. I know she only had 3 party members, but Dwayne is doing the correct thing and putting Yamaru in the party where he belongs, of course.
Well, we can give her the benefit of the doubt and think that she's doing it because she knows it's the right thing to do. Buying him a couple earrings, why not?
Yeah.
Make him look fly.
Yeah, I know Yamaru's the best character in the game, but he still needs equipment. Every character needs equipment. So I don't know if we've seen it or not, but Yamaru does give us access to 1 check. So if there's a character up in that cave, we may see totally different paths in this sea, because I strongly doubt, that Sigil does have X-Rock now that he has a host of other checks at his disposal.
Yeah, and he's got those 5 characters too, so even if he does happen across Yamaru, he's probably not going to go after a guaranteed character check. Plus, it looks like he might be going into the Burning House instead.
What do you think about that? Think it's maybe a Curse Shield play?
I think yeah, he's popping it on Gao. Doesn't look like he's going to be using Gao for much of anything else. I kind of agree with that. I mean, it depends on what the enemy is, right? Like, if it's Scullions in there, then too bad, so sad. But if it's like the single leafer, you're not going to get a lot of levels, but hey, you might as well take all these guys.
I really like what Dwayne is doing here. We know what Yamaru does best, and that is smash. So let's go to a place where you get rewarded for smashing stuff, and that is the Coliseum. So
gonna grab a cat hood. Very nice piece of equipment, especially when you know that the shops are stacked. Meanwhile, Sigil seeing Goddess and deciding, you know what, I could be better prepared for this, and immediately resetting. Let's see if he decides to go back in.
It's very much an acquired skill of knowing when to duck out of a fight, and if Sigil doesn't feel like he can get through that, no point in wasting time finding out the bad news. Just do it now. So great heads up play by Sigil.
And it looks like they're headed somewhere else. Gonna save that for later.
Floating continent, I like it.
Ooh, Dwyer found Genji Glove 4 warp stones here in the Coliseum.
And remember,
block about 2, turn into a buzzsaw.
Yep.
Yeah!
Oh, we gotta give up the egg, though. Does she do it? She does, correct. Oh, that's a lot of the leather equipment, though.
Oh, yeah, man. He does not want to get hit. She just... Okay. Experience egg on the Yeti.
I feel it. I dig it.
Even if you don't plan... I guess to pull the curtain back a little bit, even if you don't plan on keeping him in your party the whole time, which you absolutely should, this will, at the very least, make further party members that you find in the future be higher level. The one that you might want to use more if you, temporary insanity, let's say. Putting that egg on Umaro means that the next one that shows up won't be quite so weak.
Yeah, there's a flag called Start Party Average, and obviously if one character is 29 instead of 25, that's a higher average for your party. So the subsequent characters we find will come in at a higher level. So it's always a bias to just keep those characters alive, keep them gathering experience as possible when you're in that 3 to 4 character range. And then when you start getting 5, 6, 7, that's when you can start making the cut or stay in the party decisions.
Oh, interesting. So that tools X Magic Gao that Sigil brought in, the tools available are drill and flash, so that is just about as perfect as clean a setup as you can get for a tools user after the fact is those two options. So not terrible addition. Plus there's some okay magic going around. Although I guess Sigil didn't find that Merton.
Not yet. Yamaru showing off a little bit with that body slam, already doing 1k damage. Body slam ignores defense, so fantastic ability. And here is our first 8 Valiant Knife swing lock action. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Putting out lots of damage. The reason that this is such a good combo, the Valiant Knife with the offering, is the Valiant Knife typically gets a bonus to its damage equal to the difference between the user's maximum and current HP. So however much damage they have right now, that gets added on to the damage that they do. And this happens after the damage reduction from the offering, so you always get a lot more out of your swings if you're using something like Valiant Knife.
Mm-hmm.
But Ragnarok from that dragon too, not bad.
Yeah, and God has graced us with a Ragnarok Yumaro. We're pretty blessed today.
Ooh, yeah. Unfortunately, Sigil running into Inferno at a pretty rough time, taking a pretty decent amount of damage, but Health Shadow trying to keep everybody alive.
Yeah, Dwayne still hasn't found that Shadow yet, and the subsequent Gal, but we know that at some point in time, I'd imagine they would make their way on over to South Figaro Cave. So Dwayne has the seed solved. She just needs to go to the quick check, which she will eventually, and then find a few more Espers along the way.
So yeah, and we'll see who's at the end of Umaro's cave. I don't think Sigil walked up there to check, so I'm not sure if it's been on screen or not, but we'll find out shortly what's at the end of this. Well,
this is
boy, that's... Ugh.
Yeah. Oh no, Launcher is no bueno, but it does make Long stronger at least.
By quite a bit. That's almost 2,000. So yeah, this is 2,500 extra damage.
Yeah, pretty.
Now he's hurting.
Pretty unfortunate run of bosses there for Sigil, but I think he does have the mustard to get through this hot dog.
Oh, and he did pick up a Merton. So yeah, Gao is a very strong character, provided that Sigil can get good defense online for it. Double Merton will do a lot of work.
Would you rather have Merton, full party Merton, or would you rather have the 8-swing Octo Valiant Knife?
I mean, probably the Valiant Knife. Just physical attacks tend to be a little bit quicker, but magic attacks are just a little easier to get online. And Dwayne finds Edgar here at the end.
Very interesting. Oh no, unfortunately it's Rexol, but I think they still have some... Do they still have some Ice Rod then still? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh, probably. Couldn't use them on Umaro earlier, which is where I think she was hoping to start using those. We'll see if she remembers, though. That was minutes ago.
But actually, I don't think it matters. I think we had 6 swings on the correct Rexol. So that might be enough to get us through this.
Yeah, we'll just wait for these two jerks to...
Yep.
No? Wow, yeah, look at that. So yeah, Rexol is obnoxious, but thankfully does not have a ton of damage. If you can get through that, if you can get through that defense, then you'll be able to tear him up pretty easy.
All right, so that is Edgar for Dwayne. Totally divergent paths now, with little hope of them crossing back over.
And Esper number 4 for Sigil.
Let's see what Edgar does. He does Rage. He's putting him in for. She's putting him in for Sensor. Ooh.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. That Sensor has not really been pulling much weight throughout. I think they know you're watching, though.
No, I think any influence I do and don't have, if any bans threatens to ban from the community, have no impact on their decisions tonight. I think it's all just they're doing it with their heart.
I mean, yeah, you can tell yourself that all you want. Hey, whatever, you know, keeps you from lying awake at night.
I sleep quite well, thank you.
Like a baby.
Looks like Dwayne is with their the newfound Edgar. I really like this. You know, there's no, if you're gonna come down to Ancient Castle anyways, when you find Edgar later in the seed, you might as well not go to the throne, then come down here anyways. You can do 2 in 1 when you raise the castle. And there's Cyan. That's even better.
Oh, hey.
Because we love quick checks.
Yeah, and that's 2 quick checks and one of my favorite multi-part checks in the Doma Dream.
Yep.
Plus, you know, there might be a character down at the basement of in the Ancient Castle, but finding that 6-1 is very nice because now you can be a little bit pickier about what you run into. Lots of options too on the table. Still, let's see, still most of Strago's checks, so you can check the what you call it, the Fanatic's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't gone through Phoenix Cave, but probably won't at this point.
Oh no, and this is a bummer for Sigil. Guardian opening with an AoE
Man.
attack and down goes Lock.
All of the beefy bosses are in the Floating Continent run. Like this is a rough series.
This is definitely a floating continent that exists and may be remembered for a while by Sigil.
Yeah. That's three Kefka Tower bosses in a row.
And we know it can't be Goddess up here because that was at
Yes.
Disguise. So our other options, if we wanted to torture Sigil, is going to be Atma and Doom. So Atma or Doom could still be out there.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he just runs into Final Kefka at the end of this.
Yeah, not even like
Just
the
yeah,
start
an
of the fight.
extra one.
Yeah, he's on tier 3 already in medial phase. And he
Not
has
the last one.
Yeah, and he gets trained immediately. Alright, Glock doing more Octavalian things. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful sight to behold, to be honest with you.
Yes, Drago just learned Ultima off of the, I'm assuming off of, oh my, that's a good Cyan.
Yeah, of all... Wait, what?
Ooh! Okay, well...
Indeed, my friend. What you just saw right now was an atrocious crime committed by Dwaya. And for too long, our beloved Yeti is misunderstood, and he is consistently sidelined by runners. Relegated to the skies while will adventures take place on the ground, and it's time to change that. The Save the Yumaro Foundation is committed to ensuring that Yumaro stays in the heart of the action, fighting side by side with his friends, and instead of being confined to the airship, we aim to raise awareness, provide support, and bring attention to the importance of keeping Yumaro in the party. Ladies and gentlemen, will you pledge today, unlike Dwaya, to join the Save the Yumaro Foundation and keep Yumaro in your active party where he belongs? We hope you will.
You gotta do the right thing out there, folks. You know, you're the only ones that can.
Yes. We can do it, but we have to do it together.
For the price of one Figueroan tincture, you two can support 3 Umaros. They don't eat, I mean, they eat a lot, but what they eat is really cheap, so...
Yeah, they eat green cherries, which if you ever go to an item shop in Final Fantasy VI, green cherries aren't that expensive.
Nothing. You can get 10 of them for like a 5-spot. Exactly, from the chat. The Yeti will fight for you, so why don't you fight for them?
Yes. Alright,
Be the change.
Hopefully Sigil, his last boss here on Floating Continent, is not too bad, because again, he's had a rough go of it through no fault of his own. So hopefully this is like a leader or a tunnel arm or something for him.
Yeah, no kidding. This has been a really... Because it was not a bad play. You know, you want something with a bunch of fights in it so that you can get rid of that curse shield, but these bosses, woof.
Yeah. Okay, it's Flame Eater. Yeah, it's a good fight.
Alright, that's not bad.
Yeah, we're turning in the right direction. That's a little small but pivotal moment, because if that bad luck of bosses keeps running right there, that's like the worst possible spot where you can run into a Magi Master that you can't deal with, because it sends you... That's about as far back as you can go without being reckless with your saves, and Worlds collide, so pretty fortunate there for Sigil to just get a Flame Eater.
Yeah, like the only way to mitigate that would be to like backtrack to the save point after that second boss, which I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that, frankly.
No. Yeah, most standard for last X, just go ahead and go, because more often than not, that's pretty... You get blessed, or even the tougher bosses you're able to handle. But again, that's like, as long as if you're consistently saving and touching the save points you come across, that is the farthest away spot in the game that you will go between save points, so therefore it can be the most damaging in terms of a time sunk loss.
Oh, came out of it with Mute and Berserk on an Esper. That is a very handy, handy thing to teach to somebody. And want that Mute for the end of the game. Gonna take another crack at the Goddess. I think this works. Sigil was doing almost 6k with single swing of lock earlier. Picked up Ultima at some point.
Yeah. He's
got the tools for this one now.
Yeah, a little easier go of it when you have Ultima. So another nice thing heads up here about Sigil. He hasn't really had to utilize it because he has other offense available to him. But multi-summon is on in the Moogle Cup, so he can fire this Bahamut away at will as long as the MP to do so. And Bahamut is another defense piercing, a little lower spell power than Ultima, almost like Ultima Light, but it does the same thing. Non-elemental, ignores defense, does a big bunch of damage. Good spell to have.
Yeah, usually won't cost quite as much either. Meanwhile, these guys are in their default spot. The Sigil picks up Esper number 6. Carbuncle.
Very nice.
I thought that was the one with the Merton on it, but maybe there's either more than one Merton floating around out there, or it was on a different Esper than I thought. Strength +2 on Kieran.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Gonna slap that on Edgar. Okay, right, because you don't want to take the HP one off of Locke. That actually makes sense. Okay, Torado also had Merton on it.
Yeah, we're honestly kind of getting to the point where Sigil's Locke has like 6,500 HP. I would almost say, especially on the Joy side of the screen, like if you had a speed Esper, if you can get some speed on Locke, you can almost get it so that nothing in the game can act before you get to act twice and therefore kill everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's usually a good idea if you have an EXP egg character that you've been juicing for the whole game. Get some speed on them after a little bit. You're really gonna want it. It's not the most important stat in the game, but getting a character up to like 40 or 45 can end up meaning that they get like 3 attacks for every enemy's 2, that kind of thing, which adds up especially in the final boss rush.
Oh yeah, because Dwaya is gonna have no problems with her tier 3 and tier 4, because they're all just gonna be one shot, or maybe one shot on tier 1, one shot possibly on tier 4. Or tier 3 or tier 4. My goodness. So really, Dwaya has the seed solved. She's had it solved for a while, and I really like what she's been doing. I like the idea of going down to Ancient Castle, or heading through South Figaro Cave in the World of Ruin when you find an Edgar like that. Might as well do the throne and that while you're there. And then immediately pivoting out when you find Cyan. Cyan happens to be a useful character this time, but more often than not he isn't. But the fantastic thing about Cyan is all of his amazing checks. They're so fast and lucrative, and the longer one, even the multi-part ones like the one they're in right now, is not that long. So pivoting from the slower check to the far quicker check is a great heads-up play.
Oh yeah, no, that was smart. Just go ahead and not worry about the rest of Ancient Castle. Basically, several of the other options she had were much better use of her time, not least of which this. Sigil, unfortunately, trying to get an economizer for free out of the Colosseum, running into the bear what dodges all your stuff.
Yeah, even though Locke has a Valiant Knife, he's morphing for some reason, which literally does no good. Oh, it does do good if you cast a bolt.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, and
that's pretty fortunate.
While we were yapping, Dwaya's Locke just cut through Magimaster like it was a lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
Completely missed that whole fight.
It's about time Dwaya gets a tough boss. Albeit not very tough because of what they have cooking.
So yeah, something very interesting with this. Sigil's levels are substantially higher. The Locke is up to level 44 at this point. But Dwaya is kind of putting out a lot more damage. That Offering Valiant Knife Genji Glove combo is really doing a ton of work for her.
And remember, Sigil's done Floating Continent, which is going to be 4 bosses and 5 fixed encounters total for 3 possible pieces of progression. So that in itself is going to be huge boons of experience, but it's also huge boons of time. So Dwaya has been able to duck the longer check. And if you rather do Doma Dream or Floating Continent, you pick Doma Dream every time because it's 2 fights for 3 pieces of progression possibly, whereas Floating Continent is 9 for 3. And I didn't go to college for math, but 9 is less than 2, or more than 2, I've heard.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you got it right in the second one. That's good. I think the only instance where you might want to go to the floating continent is if you have some sort of objective related to boss count. But barring that, yeah, you avoid the floating continent unless you need a bunch of levels or something specific there.
All right, good news for Sigil. He's finally found the offer ring. It's 30 minutes after Dwayne found it, but he'll take it.
It's still good.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Dwayne finding an Esper from the Zen Thief there that had Magic +1 and Ultima on it.
Finally, they get some offense going for him. My goodness.
I know.
All right, Dwayne is now at 6-6, and Sigil is also at 5-6. So, all right, looks like Dwayne is going to Mount Zozo, which again, another one of the Cyan checks. We get access to a dragon, plus the Mount Zozo reward up here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Broke.
Oh no. We forgot the Chase credit card in the car. We'll go get it.
Do not. Yeah, hold on a sec. My wallet must have fallen out of my pocket.
Yeah, this happens all the time, right?
And get in a plane and fly away.
Yeah. All right, that's
okay.
all right.
She's gonna go peddle something at your door. Sometimes people take a fight there just to see, if they can't get a little bit of cash right away. This is takes a bit longer, but you're guaranteed to actually get the money you need. Sometimes you run into an encounter that doesn't give you any money, and there's I want to say 4 different formations available in Zozo if you go inside. But
Yep, that is true. The outside of the town, the inside of the town, and then the cliffs in the mountain, and then the inside of the caverns in the mountain. There's 4 different spots. But that is like the correct move because a lot of fixed encounters in Worlds Collide can be level magic or things that don't give enough gold, and that can get really trolly on you fast. So just go and do the smart thing, get out of there, or pivot and go somewhere else and come back.
Like that, she showed restraint. She was about to go in there and grab that item, but stopped at the door.
All right, second Valiant Eye for Sigil.
I don't know if he's found a Genji glove yet, so that
no,
we'll see if he can make that work for him.
It was a Genji glove for I think Warp Stones. Remember?
Yes, yeah. God, what did he got?
So
he got something out of that. I want to say it was an economizer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had to have seen him.
All right, so
okay, yeah, he's got it.
Ooh.
And Celeste at the top of Mount Zozo.
That's not a bad find because we still need 3 Espers, and Celeste obviously is not an Esper, but a few minutes later, if the correct checks are Espers, we found our Espers anyways by access of a Virtue of Celeste.
Yeah, she's got a lot of speedy checks. She can go to the basement of South Figaro to see what's in the weird little prison he's got down there. And then those first 2 checks in front of Magitech Factory are really good for getting a last couple of Magicite before the end.
Yeah, because remember, Magitech Factory is 3 checks, and Part 1 and Part 2, the number 24 fight and the Emperor Shipper fight, those can only be Espers or items. And there are a handful of spots in Worlds Collide that are kind of like that. Sigil finding out the bad news that he's run out of spots to find a character. So we know there's a character at Ebbets Rock. Sigil does not. So how long until do you think Sigil makes his way to Ebbets Rock, Sturdman?
Hopefully pretty soon. Let's see. I guess the only other place that they might end up going is like trying out maybe some of Gao's checks. Looks like they might be looking for some dried meat right now.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, he's partaking in everybody's favorite game. Where is the dried meat?
Yep. The best part of that game is when you think for about 5 seconds without moving, oh crap, have I seen it already?
Yep. And if I see it...
I don't think they have, but...
No. And if I did, where did I see it? I do like what he's doing, though. If you're going to... the more you go, looking for it, the more likely you are to find it at the next spot if you don't find it at one. So you might as well just go to the quick item shops and I promise it exists. I promise it's out there. It's out there in 5 spots. We just got to pick one of the 5.
It is 5 spots over. I want to say there's 14 item shops in the game.
Oh, there's 14 item shops in the World of Balance alone, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm not even thinking about the.
Because there's 2 in each castle.
Yes, I forgot both of the Figaro castles are separate. Plus, I completely forgot about the ghost on the train. I love that guy. Hey, there we go.
There we go. Hey, there's.
And meanwhile, here's the last statue. Man, what is even left for bosses in Kefka's Tower that could cause any trouble at this point?
Air Force can be a little rowdy.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna say, maybe number 24 if he were to confuse Locke on one of the character screens, but we're digging deep into the boss pool if we're arriving at those scenarios in terms of scary bosses.
Which this is a good time to run into him also. Like Dwya's at endgame levels for the most part, but not at endgame scaling. So running into a boss that might give you conniptions if it happened to be 10 or 15 levels higher earlier might be a huge benefit. Ooh, Sigil.
Yeah, nice.
Getting super lucky, running into the Lobo right away, and getting the character immediately. Very nice job.
Right.
Maybe not a great character to find. Does not open a lot of options. Certainly not as many as Cyan. But got that 6th character, so now he can just focus on Espers for the rest of it.
And unfortunately, that's a Thunder Shield at the Doma Siege check for Dwaya. But that's okay. We still have some quick checks we have access to. And Dwaya also could possibly get character skip. We know Shadow is right next door from where they're physically at, and the Shadow can quickly lead to a lock, so...
Yeah, not a bad pick right now either. I think the most comfortable position to be in would be to have find that one last Esper somewhere else before going and dipping your toe into a Magitech facility, so that you don't have that weird, desire to finish it off. And Terra at the basement. Not an Esper, but another good source of some quick checks.
Well, they're half Esper, right?
Oh, that's true.
So, but unfortunately, we don't. We don't round up.
though.
Yeah, they're unfortunately count as a character, not an Esper, in terms of Worlds Collide. But as Turpin's mentioned, some fast checks and one peekable. That's a nice way to round out the piece of progression we need. Plus, good news is now Dwaya is for sure going to get skipped because we know Shadow's here.
I forget. I know Sigil checked the character at Gao's Manor. I know it was not a character, but I don't. Was it Esper? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. This Quake is not cool. Oh, never mind. It's fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
Dragon Schmagon.
All right. And Dragon does not live very long.
I like. So Dwaya opting to not use Lock because you don't need to.
Yeah.
Don't need to go through all 8 of the weapon animations there. Finding that Shadow, which gives her skip, but I bet after finding your 9th character, you're probably feeling like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
What
are we doing? What are we doing?
Just stop it.
Yeah. Let's put that 9 where my 6 is and my 6 where my 9 is, and we're feeling a lot better. Oh, a dog.
Whoa, don't pet that dog.
Yeah, that's not the dog you want to pet. That one doesn't like strangers. Esper number 7 for Dwaya.
So let's see. I think, mentioned it before, but I do think best practice right now would be to go to Vector. And alright, looks like that is what she's doing.
Very nice.
Well, Sigil is making their climb. I think this is the Tritok spot.
Yep. And I think this was... it was a reward. I can guarantee that. But Dwayne has been up here and told us what it was. I just,
I think it was a shield.
yeah, that's a good point. It looks like it's
Oh,
gonna
never
be a
mind.
shield. Oh, nope. It's an Esper.
I was thinking something else.
It's Tirado. Alright, so Sigil at 6 and 7, Dwayne at 9 and 7. Fortunately, Sigil doesn't have Yamaro, so he can't go back to the rest of the cave to do the last bit of it, but that's okay. He's in strong position if he can just find 2 more Espers in a timely manner of finishing out the seed.
And it looks like they're going to also make the purchase at the back of Zen, so that's a good one to find.
I do like that we're getting 1 runner with Skip, and we're probably going to have 1 runner without it, and that's going to really let us showcase the power of Kefka Tower Skip. Because it's essentially a 5-minute time save. A little over 4 minutes of walking, and obviously an Inferno boss fight, however that plays out for you. But usually by this point in time, runners are not threatened by it.
Yeah, Sigil taking this one. It looks like they're going to go for it.
Yep.
So we don't know what is at the end of this check yet. Sigil definitely has the magic to be able to get through it, no problem. But this, unfortunately, is a bit of a walk.
Yeah.
I'm going to rotate that controller like it was Mario Party.
Alright, so this is a pivotal moment. Sigil's going to get his unlock when he makes his way down from Fanatic's tower, whereas Dwayne may get it here very shortly, or they may get no Espers out of this Magitech Factory endeavor, so crucial moment here in the seed. Sigil needs a timely tower climb and some bad RNG for Dwayne to close the gap that Skip is going to provide them.
So yeah, if Dwayne does not find an Esper here, then Sigil's got a much better shot of getting into the tower first.
Yeah, because then Dwayne has to pivot to do a little peekaboo with things like the Welt Cave spot, or the cave to the sealed gate, or Moogles in the Wall of Ruin. Things that could be Espers or could be characters, or some things that are peekable, but that's Esper number 8, so 1 more go at it, and Dwayne may be skyrocketing through the tower, but we'll see.
Pretty good chance of finding it. Both of our runners have found, I think, about 2 or 3 dead checks each along this route, so... Looks like Ultros 3 on Sigil's side. Meanwhile, Dwayne has to deal with some fish. A very good play from Sigil. Using Berserk on lock, he is going to take care of everything.
Very nice. That idea can be a little annoying when you have like an Illuminaware and they have high magic evade, but when it's just Valiant Knife, it goes a lot more. It's more likely to stick than it is to miss, and great heads up play there by Sigil.
Ugh, these fish.
How does the Piranha fight work, Turdsman?
Well, it is, I think, one of the most interesting fights in Worlds Collide, where, so these piranhas, so now we got Rizopas up here. That's very important. This is the actual boss. All of the other piranhas that you fight are just extra little fodder that he throws in front of them, and they will keep reappearing for, I want to say it's 8 to 55 seconds, anywhere in between those two. And it's the same for every seed, so if you're playing against somebody else, you know that they're going to have as much of a frustration fighting piranhas as you do. So the general idea is you just kind of got to chew through them until that last one pops out. But Dwayne did end up with her 9th Esper there, so that is go mode for her. She is ready to jump into that tower.
Yep, and we got the levels to power through. Sigil now has his unlock. He is at 6 and 9. But unfortunately, Dwayne is at 9 and 9. And, yeah, so Dwayne is going to enter Kefka's tower at the statue spot, whereas Sigil will have to walk the entire thing.
So yeah, this is going to be a huge advantage for Dwayne. I'm not sure I can think of many scenarios where she's going to get too particularly tripped up for Sigil to be able to catch up. But Sigil does have a lock that is doing just huge gobs of damage. Has been having that HP plus 100 Esper sitting on him for basically the entire game, plus an experience egg. So if he's used very carefully, he could end up, getting Sigil those extra few minutes that he needs to pull ahead.
Yeah, I would say not only does Sigil need Dwyer to slip up somebody somehow, he needs her to do it in a comical fashion or at a really unfortunate spot. Just wiping once to one of the statues isn't going to do it.
The piano falling on her head.
Yeah, they need to progress through some of the tiers of Kefka's Tower or the final Kefka fight, and then have things go south for them.
Yeah, I guess a Kefka wipe would be... I think that probably the chief thing that would get Sigil some extra time to jump ahead. Because this skip is going to be huge. Like if they were both starting on the same, if they're both starting at the beginning like that, this would be ultra close at this point. But right now, Sigil's got a bit of an uphill battle to get to where Dwyer is.
And that's a throw Terra. That's a pretty good Terra if I ever saw one.
It is very funny that Throw Terra, which is one of the best characters you can have in the game, one, getting her so late, and two, everybody else is just beefed up so hard already. Like, you find a Throw Terra and you're like, yeah, that's fine, I guess. It's no Shock Cyan, but...
Yeah.
Shock Cyan with, 40 magic and 35 speed somehow.
Or whatever the Setzer was doing. I think the Setzer was control or sketch or something. Yeah. Alright, Tentacles going down here for Sigil. He is through the Inferno Sot. Dwyer through the left statue. Now through the middle lane where we have two fights. Not one, but two fights. Ooh. This is an interesting boss.
Probably not going to give too much trouble, but... definitely going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, Atma has not the best stats, but he does get access to a few juicy spells, especially when he's at max scaling, and I believe in Dwyer's case that's going to be... I think that's going to put him at 40. No, it's not, because the dragons don't count test for skill, so this is a level 38.
I think, just shy of Goner and Ultima and stuff, but...
But he can still do things like that, but,
Whoa, doesn't damage.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Lock thrives when you damage him.
He likes it, really. Oh boy, yeah, was that 2 attack? Take down an optional super boss.
Alright, fight number 2 down for Dwyer, 2 more to go. Sigil still has to play through, fight his way through some tubing and a couple of conveyor belts, and then he will be on this level playing field as where Dwyer started. Looks like Dwyer's going to play it safe and go and get the party back up, even though Locke is the bread maker here.
I suppose I understand not wanting something weird to knock him out and then not be able to get him back up, but with regular schmegular Kefka here, I don't think you're going to have too much trouble.
Yeah, this is like the part of the Kefka fight where they bring you the bread at Outback or or something before they bring you the menu.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry, we have a lot of this. You can chew through it.
Yeah, alright, one more boss. Stands between Dwyer and the final fight. A few more doors and a few other things for Sigil. So, Tersman, while we let our characters, our runners run through Kefka's Tower here, you yourself are going to be a Moogle Cup mentor.
Yes.
If I was a prospective Moogle on the fence about signing up for the Moogle Cup and was blessed to have you as my mentor, what would you teach me? What would you focus on? What would be going over, Sensei?
So I'm very glad that you asked me that because I don't know. I would probably start with, kind of what I said at the start at the top of this. Get a really good idea of what you want to look like at the end of the game, and that way, once you have your destination, you'll be able to figure out a lot easier if the thing that you're running up to now will get you to that endpoint. You know, like there's a lot going on in this game that's not all of the systems play very nicely with each other. So it can be really important to know whether or not this, you know, like you might find, for example, an Excalibur and not fully understand that that sucks actually and is not going to help you out really hardly at all.
Yeah, this isn't Final Fantasy 4. Get your Excaliburs out of here.
Yeah, afraid not.
Okay. But no, just to piggyback off of Turdsman's fantastic answer is I don't know either. But I will say one of the things a lot of our mentors are willing to do is kind of meet you where you're at, right? This will be our 3rd edition of Moogle Cup. We've done 2 before. We've had a lot of runners that have come through and be Moogles that have come from other randomizers, and they tend to have more experience with things like, you know, character or gating and character and key item logics. So they're a little more familiar to randomizers and how they work and what you were trying to do. Whereas we also have some people that haven't even finished the vanilla game before and have come into Worlds Collide, not even having beaten the vanilla game themselves. So it doesn't matter where you are, Art. We will meet you where you are and get you to where you want to be in the Moogle Cup.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is the most important thing to focus on. Is that it's, you know, the point of it is to get somebody up. You know, not to get out any particular specific piece of information or, you know, whatever specifics you might think of about the game. Like the point is to figure out where you're at and try to get you the rest of it.
Yeah. The only hard requirements I would say if you're interested in signing up is that at least 1, know how to download a seed, get into a seed, and 2, have like any type of streaming situation figured out, whether it's screen sharing through Discord or whatever it wants to be, to get your screen shared to your mentor. At least be up to that point. And if you aren't, or if you're unfamiliar with streaming or just getting the seed generator in general, we can help you with that. Let's just do it in the Discord. That way you're not showing up, you know, firsthand with your mentor, and then you have to spend that for the first hour, because then you lose an hour of instructional time. Because some, you know, depending on what emulator you're using or what operating system you're using, you can run into some weird wrinkles. And while the mentors are Worlds Collide experts, I am in no way an iOS expert or a MacBook expert. So if you by chance are using a MacBook, I'm going to be worthless towards you. But we do have some other members in the community who use the various OSs, use various emulators, and some that even play on actual Super Nintendos themselves. So they can get you set up whatever way you were trying to play Worlds Collide that way.
Yeah, there's so many different configurations for PCs and how we have all these little things interact with each other. So that's the first big hurdle. But if you've never even played Worlds Collide before, but you've just watched a couple of these streams, you're probably still good to go. Speaking of good to go, Dwyer jumping right onto those switches and running into Tier 1. Going to put a Vanish on lock here so that he doesn't get blasted in the face. I don't think anybody's really found a whole lot of good equipment for him just yet. Now, why is that the concern in Tier 1, Blue?
Tier 1 is the very punchy phase. The good news about Tier 1 is that there's no AoE attacks that come out if you don't want them to. The only one that could possibly hit you is Quake, and that only happens if you kill the head last. The bad news is that a lot of the attacks are going to hurt because they're single target. They're high damage output, and I don't know if you've been paying attention a lot, but Locke doesn't have the best equipment. So despite him being a fantastic piece of offensive god statue, whatever you want to call it, he is a little squishy. So there's a little Pikachu action going on there.
Yeah, a little bit less so on Sigil's side. I'm not sure where Locke is gonna end up by the end of the game, but I did notice in their status screen a moment ago that their Locke has over 9,000 HP. So that is going to equate to either a ton of damage or a lot of damage they don't have to worry about. And interesting, Sigil stepped on the switches only a minute behind Dwyer. It looks like that juiced up Locke might help him out a lot more than we thought he would.
Yeah, Sigil is closing the gaps. Dwyer's Locke is unfortunately taking a nap because of, you know, again, he's getting punched in the face, and when you have leather hats and leather armors, that's no bueno for getting punched in the face. But he does, or Sigil does have, excuse me, Dwayne does have access to Banish, so if they can get the head down, we can Banish lock and they can't be damaged anymore.
Vanish and Safe might not be a bad time to start dropping some defensive spells on that lock and just letting them take care of as much as possible. I believe Mute is in play, so hopefully not a whole lot of spells are going to get thrown in the next tier.
Oh my goodness. Alright, this will do it for this tier because the short arm can counter attack, but they'll only counter attack the person that's attacking them, and if block is vanished, well, you can't touch him. So we are safely through tier 1 for Dwaya.
Yeah, so Sigil, both Sigil and Dwaya used the break spell on the long arm there. That is something that I really like about the Final Kefka in general is that status elements aren't completely worthless as you're going up the final fight. Like there's 2 of these, the long arm on tier 1, and then the tools target on tier 2. You kind of saw it for a little bit there with that multi-target attack. There's, you know, a bunch of junk in there right behind the blue dude in the underwear. That is a target. It is weak to instant death. The spell casting piece in the back on tier 2 is weak to mute, so that's a good way to neutralize that. And then if you're really hurting, Sourmouth, that's smart. That'll put a bunch of stuff on everybody.
That's why Dwaya is a Moogle Cup mentor right there, catching us by surprise when we think they'll zig. They're gonna zag. Ooh, that is a Quake coming out on Sigil's side of the screen, but he is equipped with the requisite HP to survive it, and on the tier 2 he goes.
So that lock is going to be doing max damage with every swing at this point because of just how much HP he has. And then so the difference is, right now that's almost 8,000 bonus damage on every single attack, which is nuts. All right, that's like the kind of stuff you're doing if you've grinded out for 100 hours in the vanilla game.
This is a pivotal moment. We got 10 hits coming out. If it touches lock, he might go down. That's 2 misses. That's 3 misses.
Ooh.
We are... Oh my goodness. How fortunate.
That 10 hit missed lock 4 times in that sequence.
Oh my gosh.
That was excellent.
Yeah. Well, 10 hits isn't an issue if you can just make it miss.
10 misses.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, Golden Soccer Party of 3, come on in. Thank you for your raid, and you guys are coming at the perfect time because Sigil was very far behind in this Kefka Towers climb, but he has closed the gap on Dwaya. Not enough though, because he is still behind, but we are in for a fantastic finish.
Just barely. If Sigil's gotten rid of the other parts already, then he is going to be going up to tier 3 here in a second. But looks like he still has magic to deal with.
Yep. Out comes Merton on tier 1 for Dwaya, but that's okay. We'll pick lock back up. And if you notice what's going on Sigil's side of the screen, he bought a True Knight at the very beginning of the seed, and it is paying dividends for him now. He is allowing his lock to comfortably have next to no HP so he can do max damage, and the True Knight is turning his shadow into a de facto Cecil and covering for him.
I mean, that is smart. That's the one problem with having a character with the Valiant Knife is they may or may not be, you know, 1 hit away from death, and you don't, you know, Vanish works on the first tier, but not really on any of the rest of them.
All right.
Dwaya, though, getting the Phantom strats. Very nice.
Yep. All right. I was going to say tier 1 and tier 2 are probably Dwaya's going to be Dwaya's shortcomings, but tier 3 and tier 4, as mentioned earlier, are going to be no problem for her. That's where she will not falter. That's where there's less targets, so less targets equals more Valiant Knife, equal profit.
Yeah, this lock is going to be doing almost 30,000 just right away.
Alright.
Yeah, Sigil getting a Merton opening. Let's see what that... Ooh, that's no good.
That's alright, we got life 3.
Life 3? Yeah. Alright.
Really, his lock just needs to act 1 time, and he's in good position. But unfortunately, so does Dwaya's. So Dwaya's lock needs to act 1 more time, and this seed is over for her.
Yep, already out of the Yep, not even for bothering anybody else. Just got to get that lock back up.
Yep.
One last swing in.
All right. By the way, this tier has 64,000 total, or 62,000 total HP, but you would never know that because Dway is making short work of it. And
just
that
buzzsaw lock. GG's. That is crack pal.
Yep, that is crack pal. That is GG's. Unfortunately, because of the actions this runner committed earlier, we will not be interviewing them. I'm going to have to look into taking disciplinary actions against them. We'll discuss all that further in private. Just kidding. GG's, Dwaya. Welcome on in.
Hey,
we're glad to have you.
Thanks.
So once you found that offering, business picked up for you. You want to go into a little bit more detail about what that offering did for you?
That offering with first the one Valiant Knife and then the second one in Tomb pretty much made the whole game for me. It was the lock show at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that Esper hunt, that was kind of stressful. I was panicking a little bit there.
Yeah, how did you feel when you found character number 9? Like you had, I think, 4 of them in a row there.
Well, I mean, it got me my skip, so I was happy about that, but I was sweating. Because I thought that meant that I must have missed the real path somewhere to get the Espers.
And that is Sigil side as well. Not too far behind. About a 1 minute 15 second difference.
Yeah, that was a close race. That was good.
Well, that's interesting. It wasn't quite that close for a while. You both got, you both unlocked Final Kefka at the same time, but you had the skip, so you were able to get in there. You were able to avoid that opening walk. How did you feel about the bosses in the statue spots? Because there wasn't a whole lot of nasty stuff there, but there was a couple of little time sinks.
Oh my gosh, it's all blurring together already. The bosses were...
I know piranhas were there.
Piranhas, yeah, that was kind of devastating. Just because you never want to see slowfish whenever you know you're like racing the clock at the very end. Other than that, it was really like anything that was the multi-target, like, what is it, number 128 and Rexol throughout the whole seed, because, I mean, Locke was my main hitter, and can't control that offering.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think I did get a little lucky on that one. I think 6 of the 8 hits actually targeted where they were supposed to. Is there something that you do or try to keep in mind as you're going through to have backup plans for that sort of thing? Or is there a loadout that you can get that you realize, like, okay, I can turn my brain off for the rest of this seed?
As far as like offense, like specific offense, or what?
Yeah, like something like a lock with a boatload of HP and, you know, the Genji glove offering 2 Valiant Knives. Like, is that something where you find it and you're just like, okay, I'm good?
Yeah, well, to an extent, because I know I have to deal with 3 lanes and Locke can only be in one of them. So as long as I have one other character that is pretty strong and can carry it, I feel pretty comfortable, because then I can just bunch up on the 3rd lane where my weaker characters are. Thankfully in this seed, I mean, between the Ultima and the Ragnarok and the Genji, the Octo VK, I really wasn't too worried going into the tower.
Yeah, and Sigil, it took you a little bit longer there to find the offer. But once you did find it, everything started disappearing right before your eyes, and you did mount a furious comeback there. If you could do anything a little differently in your routing, what do you think you'd do differently, Sigil?
Actually, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Cold.
Because Katana Soul was just at Daryl's tomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really don't like checking that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at the point where I was still looking for a character. and more espers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a hard Esper hunt too, Sigil?
It was more character for me at the end. Because
I can tell you where they all were.
not the path I went.
Yeah, no, trust me, they were all along my path. I had 9 and 9 at the end.
I was 6 and 9.
Yeah, I was struggling to find espers. But that was a good race. That was a good seat.
Yeah.
I've noticed something, Sigil. I can only beat you on restream though. Any other time, I can't beat you.
Yeah, and I really don't like these type of seeds.
And why is
We get
Could
all
you
the
expand on
offense.
that?
We get all the offense right away.
Oh, I thought you were going to make the type of seeds where you don't find tomorrow, but
That also.
Yeah,
I was
that-
disappointed.
You didn't find tomorrow?
No!
I sure did, and I'm pretty sure Glue was cussing me whenever I took him out of my party too.
Was it Epic Rock?
It was Ebbets Rock, yeah. So Ebbets Rock led to Edgar, which led to Cyan.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Cyan led to Celis, which led to Terra. I
Mhm.
keep going.
And I think and you picked up almost all of those, right?
yeah,
after
we
that.
were just missing Realm and Mog, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, another reason why I went for Captain was just to uncurse the cursed shield.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do Burning House or Fanatic's Tower?
I did Fanatic's Tower.
I didn't even peek at what was there.
Magicite.
Okay. I was relying too much on my lock, so Fanatic's Tower wasn't very appealing to me.
When I found the offering, I knew I was cooked.
All right, so Turdsman and I kind of already answered this question earlier, but I would like to posit the same question to both of y'all. Joya, we will start with you. As we mentioned a few times throughout the stream, y'all will both be mentors during the next edition of the Moogle Cup. If I was a prospective Moogle on the fence about joining, what would you say to me that I could expect to learn from you, Joya, a mentor?
So I believe in the if you can explain to me something, then that means you know it pretty well.
Mhm.
So I like to go through, I like to explain it first, and then kind of have you repeat it back to me.
Mhm.
And kind of learn with the hands-on approach like that. As far as learning from me, I would think that my strengths are probably boss weaknesses, what are good grind fights, all the kind of quirky things, like what can you sketch, what are the rages.
Mhm.
I would definitely say that those are my strong points. So that would be, if any Moogles are out there that are like, well, I don't know if I want to do this because my vanilla game knowledge might not be that great. That's where I'm going to shine.
And Sigil, I pose the same question to you as a Moogle who may or may not be on the fence. What can I expect to learn from you as one of the Moogle Cup mentors in the next edition of the Moogle Cup?
I feel like how to execute, and because my game knowledge I feel is so at times.
Mhm.
But I feel my execution is really good.
Mhm.
So I could hopefully teach my Moogle how to execute really well.
And those who aren't familiar with Sigil, he is also a very accomplished multiple randomizer of the various Zelda communities. So when you say execute, do you mean like taking what you know, taking your knowledge and putting it in action?
Yes,
Gotcha.
and figuring out what you want to do with your characters.
Mhm.
And I like teaching with like a hands-on approach where the person does it along with me.
Mhm. Very well said. All right, and I guess we're gonna begin to wrap this up. And before we wrap this up, Sigil, I'll circle back to you. Do you, besides anything in Worlds Collide, or what we discussed tonight, which is mainly the Moogle Cup, do you have anything coming up that you would like to give a shout out or a plug to, my friend?
No. At this time, I'm just concentrating on Worlds Collide.
Gotcha. All right, Dwaya, I throw you the same question, my friend.
Well, the thing that I've got going on, other than finishing up the off-season event and becoming a mentor for Moogle Cup, is I run the Moogle Cup campfire seeds on Friday evenings, possibly on Saturdays to try to catch our EU friends, where we just kind of do like a really casual, no-stress race where people that maybe haven't raced before can learn race rooms. We can talk about strategies, kind of a get-to-know-you icebreaker thing. Because I know, as being a relatively newer member of the community, one of the hardest things is getting past that hump of getting to know everybody. So that's what I do. That's my plug. Shameless plug.
Nothing shameless about it. So again, I want to give you all a personal thank you for putting on the show tonight, and what a great race it was. A minute and 14-second difference. Doesn't get much closer than that, so thank you again, Joya. Thank you again, Sigil.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate y'all, and hope y'all have a wonderful evening.
You too.
All right, you too.
All right, so Tersman, what a roller coaster of emotions. We saw the Amaro. He was stripped away from us. Despite all that, we got a fantastic race. Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to throw out into the community before we sign off and rate somebody?
No, just to, I guess, repeat everybody's sentiments. If you want to get involved in anything, we have links to the Discord on the website, ff6worldscollide.com. You can also roll your own seeds there, but come on in and chat with us. We love talking about this thing. And, you know, jump on into the Moogle Cup if you want to. This is a showcase of some players that did this with the Moogle Cup too. So if you want to go from 0 to where Dwyer and Sigil are tonight, which is like 1:15:14 and 1:16:28 are amazing times. You know, jump on in and we can get you there.
Yeah, and we picked Dwayne and Sigil and some of the other Moogles that will our mentors that we just showcase come up because they are products of this amazing program, and you can see where they were and you can see where they are now. You can see Sigil show off a true night, and Dwayne just cooking with gas all night long. Fantastic racers. But with that, GG's again, everybody. Thank you. A special thank you to Tersman for joining me tonight and helping me track and keeping me in line when I got a little emotional there. I appreciate you, my friend.
It's okay. It's an important cause.
Yep. And we're going to raid on over to Christopher Workin, who is doing some flag testing, it looks like. So we'll see you all there.
Have a good night.